I am here at the Goodwill bins that started it all. The one right off of Gandy in St. Petersburg, Florida. I have not been here in about 4 years, and it looks like they've given it a bit of a facelift. I don't have my phone on me, so I'm gonna try to go in with my camera. Hopefully they allow it. But yeah, this is what started it all for me. This one is very special to me, and I cannot wait to see if it still holds up, and also show you guys the OG. All right, let's get in there. This location is connected to a retail store and has a ramp for easy access. This location also is kind of different from most of the other ones, as it has 2 main rooms, one for housewares and one for clothes. There's no flat fee here, and it's kind of priced out by every single type of item. They have all sorts of things, including makeup at this one. All of the clothes are in these large black bins instead of the shallow blue boats that we're used to. The 2 rooms really helps things stay sorted, and I found this really beautiful vintage purse. The deep bins also extend all the way into the houseware section. There's a lot of Halloween stuff in here. One thing I really liked about this bins was the sheer amount of glassware and ceramics that was in the bins. This can be kind of difficult though. There's some beautiful stuff, but it can lead to getting cuts like I had here. This bins is extremely high energy, but it's a lot more chill than I thought it was going to be, which was a very pleasant surprise. I decided to fully ignore the fact that I was flying home when I did my cart. I just got done at the outlet, and that was probably one of the best trips to any sort of outlet I have ever been in. And now we're gonna go and do the debrief, and I will actually be able to show you guys a haul of the things I got. So I'll see ya real soon. After the bins, my mom and I spent the afternoon in Tampa, and we went to this really cool little restaurant, as well as walked to the beach in the evening. Overall, it was just a really nice day. It's debrief time! I am so excited to get into this one. And as you can see, I did not leave empty-handed. Not even close. So this debrief will be a little bit different because I have a little bit more time on my hands, and I thought I would take you through everything that I found. So we're going to be doing a whole lot of haul right here. I was gonna say a little bit, but it's gonna be a whole huge haul. And we're going to talk about all of the rankings that we did in the previous video. Well, I show you some of the wonderful things I found. And I found a lot, so come take a seat. So some of the things that we're going to be ranking today is friendliness, cleanliness, the overall vibe, the cost, the location, the types of goods offered, the safety, and just the general ranking consensus. So a bit of a note, this was my original bins, the ones that started it all, the ones that introduced me to the concept of the bins. And I first learned about it when I was 18. And that's the one I would go to. I frequented it pretty regularly. It was one of my favorite places to go in terms of thrifting, and it was an absolute chaotic, lawless land of people that would break bottles on each other's heads. We saw people do purse smackdowns. It was the Wild West of the Goodwill outlets. Going here now, it has done a complete 180. I barely recognized inside. It was pleasant, it was calm, and I really enjoyed it. So we're going to go with the first one, which is cleanliness. And to start that, I will be showing you guys some of my purses that I found today. So first up, we have this beautiful leather bag, and I think it could be worn as a crossbody, but look how wide this is. This is like 3 purses in one. This is very cool. You could hold a lot in this. So for the cleanliness, it used to be very not clean and just, it had a grimy vibe to it. But now I would say it's probably the 3rd cleanest bin I have been in so far. It's very clean, maybe even the 2nd cleanest. Although it is still clean due to the fact that they have a lot of glass, I still, as you saw earlier in the video, did get cut. That was actually the first time I've ever been cut at the bins. But overall, I would say it's pretty clean, so I'm going to give them an 8.5 out of 10. The only reason it's not 10 out of 10 is simply due to the fact that there is a lot of broken glass at this bins. However, they do have a bin where people can bring up glass, and they just have glass in a shallow bin. I also forgot, we are going to be ranking on carts, the system that they use, and the type of bins used, because this place uses deep bins. They do not use the shallow U-boats. They use the deep bins, and thankfully they don't have the rolling canvas ones as much. Those are in the back room with all the hard goods, but on the closed floor they have black, like crate type bin. Let's get into some more of these purses. So this was one that you guys saw earlier, and this is a vintage. It is absolutely beautiful. It is beaded. It is very sparkly, and it does have a hat pin in it, which I'm going to leave there for now because I don't want to hurt myself anymore. This one is definitely going into my antique shop. It is safety, and they definitely improved in safety this time versus last time. There are no longer shards of glass in the clothing bins, which I appreciate. They stay in the glass bins. There is, from what I saw, the first time I went there, somebody pulled a human tooth out of the bins, which was probably knocked in by somebody that was having a fight. There was no human teeth, no teeth of any kind today at the bins. But I would say that the fact people are no longer fighting and they somehow got it under control, but there is still some glass. I never really saw any on the floors, so I'm going to give them a 6.5 out of 10 for safety, just because they seem to be improving things and really tend to have it well controlled. Also, they have a first aid kit, and I got a Band-Aid immediately. I went up and asked, and she also had gauze and the alcohol wipes, and she made sure I cleaned it really well and then gave me a Band-Aid. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5, which I would say, yeah, it's much better than last time. I'd probably give it a 2 for when I used to go. Price. So I did some digging and I found out through the internet, wrongly, that people were saying the price was over $3 a pound at this bins. They are wrong. Do not let them trick you. I was worried. It is not. It is $1.89 for most things. The shoes are a little bit more, but the glassware is now cheaper than it ever has been, even back in 2019. The glassware is 39 cents a pound now, which overall, seeing how everything is different prices, it's still cheaper than my home bins at Asheville, which just keeps making me more and more disappointed with Asheville's price, that they have basically everything except for books and electronics. Everything is the same price across the board, and they did recently raise their price this year. So I'm gonna give them extra points for this one. I'm going to say the prices, while not as good as Greenville, I'm going to give the prices an 8.5 because it's still pretty good, especially considering this is in Florida and it's in Pinellas County. And for those of you who don't know, Pinellas County is a fairly expensive place to live. Hence one of the reasons why I no longer live there. So we're going to give the price an 8.5 out of 10 because I think for all of this was $70, and I think that is a very fair trade for what I got. All right, so this next thing is something going in my vintage/antique store, and it is this kind of early 2000s seam belt. It has the little jelly rhinestones. It has a thick belt, and this would just look so good with someone's outfit. This is not something I personally would wear, but I do know that this would complete a wonderful scene outfit. It could even be used on rave outfits. I hope somebody finds this and makes a wonderful outfit with this. This is just, I love it. Another thing I got, and I found a jewelry box, and usually they're empty. So when I opened it and I saw Swarovski, I think that's how you say it. When I saw that there were earrings, I was shocked. And it does have the Swarovski thing. They are silver earrings with blue crystals in them. But these are very gorgeous. And I have been wanting an actual pair of jewelry for a long time. I did have a pair of ruby earrings when I was very young. I do not know what happened to them. I think I lost them. They were ruby and gold. So the fact that I have another higher quality than, like, you know, Walgreens or Claire's or something, higher quality jewelry in a color I will actually like wearing, it makes me happy, because I would like to have a modest collection of higher quality jewelry than I have now, which most of it's just like very cheap costume stuff. Another thing I found that I will be keeping for myself is this turnstile, because I'm currently having my paintbrushes all over the house, and I haven't had one big enough to hold them all, but I think this will actually do amazingly versus maybe like 1 or 2 giant brushes I have. But this is going to hold 98% of all the brushes I have, and it will really help me when I finally finish cleaning my craft room. Another category that I want to talk about is employees, and this I am just going to come out and say up front, I am giving a 10 out of 10. Now, this was not always the case. The employees used to scream at people. There have been a few instances years back where they would curse at people, but the employees now have such patience and are able to enforce the rules without being angry. They also are extremely helpful. I forgot the system of how to do things because it's been about 4 years since I've been here. And they walked me through everything, and she helped me get everything, because you have to sort everything out here when you ring it up. And they helped. I even had somebody help me out to my car. It was amazing, and I just want to give a huge shout out to all the employees that are working at that Goodwill. You guys are doing amazing, and I think that this is the best, most friendly employees out of all the ones I've visited so far. So 10 out of 10. And as you can see, they did partially wrap and pad stuff. And the next thing I'm going to show you, I was shocked. I almost screamed in the store when I saw this, because I never even find these at the normal Goodwills, let alone at a Bin's. So when I tell you how excited I was, these are vintage Pyrex. They are pretty rare, and I wouldn't eat out of them because I'm pretty sure almost all of them test positive for lead. For eating, I do feel safe touching it, but if I were to put wet foods inside of it, I wouldn't really feel so safe. Even though the paint is on the outside, I'm not gonna do a lead test, but I'm not gonna eat out of it either. This one is the orange one with the wheat. I think it is absolutely delightful. And then this one, which I have seen everywhere, and I actually used to have the plate set for this when I tried doing antiques online about 4 years ago. But this is the green bowl with the flowers. I think they're both gorgeous, and these are, in fact, going into my antique store. Another cool find that I will be putting in the shop is these lemon salt and pepper shakers. I kind of want to start having more salt and pepper shakers in my shop. I already have a large collection of pepper grinders in my shop because I really love them, and anytime I find one, I will pick it up, especially if it doesn't have any plastic. This is specifically due to the fact that it took me so long to find one. I visited like 11 antique shops trying to find a plastic-free pepper grinder. And now that I've finally stopped searching for myself and I got one, I see them everywhere. So everywhere I go, I grab one. That way I can bring them to as many people as possible, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had this problem. So let's talk about the selection of items at this bins. This bins has a lot of really good selection of stuff, and I have found some of my favorite pieces that I still own 4 or 5 years later, and they're holding up great. And I am going to say this is one of the better ones that I've been to. I'm going to rate the selection of items a 9.5. There are a few things that I didn't see, but I haven't been here in years, so I've really only been once in the past few years. And I feel like I would need to go more times to get a better scale and a better understanding. Also, this is going on the wall of the antique shop. I need to put batteries in it, but I have never seen one in person. I don't know what it says, but I'm excited to find out, and I will post once I get batteries in it. Also, I found this visor with a bunch of pro golfers, like a bunch of pro golfers signing it. And let's talk about bin rotations. This was exactly how I remembered. They do one side of each room at a time. So there's 2 main rooms in this bins. There is a home goods and books section, and there is a clothing and accessories section. So each room has 2 sections, except for the home goods has 2, plus a 3rd section for the books, which they do not rotate throughout the day. They do, however, rotate the home goods, and they do it by half. So they do 1/2 of the home goods and then at a time, and then 1/2 of the clothing at a time. And they are constant. It is one after the other. So when they finally finish with the half of the clothes, they let everyone dig, and in about 5 minutes, they are taking away the other half of the home goods. So when I was there, they did about, in 2 hours, 5 to 6 rotations. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I cannot see how they would do any more before people wouldn't be able to actually keep up. This was a nice pace. People were getting through the stuff at a reasonable pace because each bin stayed on the floor for about 45 minutes, and the amount of people there, it made sense. So the first thing I want to show is this cotton dress, and this is a plus size. I do have a plus size rack at my store, and I try to keep it stocked with clothes that are actually cute instead of like, you know, just like that business casual stuff. I think everyone of all sizes deserves to feel like they can have vintage and that stuff that actually looks cute. Let's talk about the overall vibe of this bins. The vibe when I first went years ago was the vibe of the bins when I first went a few years ago was feral and slightly violent, but I would say the vibes now are extremely chill. Even the faded t-shirt bros, which most bins have, they did have them here. They were honestly very chill. There were no ladies hitting each other with bags or glass this time, which I'm very proud of them for not doing that. I'm going to give the vibes here a 9 out of 10 because honestly, I would enjoy being in here. I don't feel like there's any hostile energy, and people are pretty chatty. I actually had a lot of conversations with some very cool people, but it's just fun to get to know people, and I'm glad that I was able to at this bins. I have been trying to get all cotton workout clothes, hence the reason why I don't have very many. I actually have about 3 pairs of workout shorts right now that I rotate, and I basically am washing something every single day because of it. Because I am also allergic to elastic, so I have to spend the time cutting out the elastic bands. So I'm going to cut the elastic out of this, but this is a full cotton skirt. I'm very excited to be adding a 4th member to the workout drawer. Welcome. Very happy to see you. I have some more unique things like this tie-dye cotton dress. Very excited for this one because it has good bones and I do want to make something. Even though it has a big old stain in the front, I think I could dye it. It looks so dreamy and romantic, and I want to do something with it. Even the buttons are very cute. And this is all cotton. It is from one of the aforementioned bad websites. I'm gonna just write it here. I would never shop there, but I figured since it is a natural fiber, I am going to save it from going to the landfill. I'm going to rip all the elastic out of it and replace all of it with drawstrings, so it's going to be a ye old mini sundress. That is also going to be a project piece. I have lots of project pieces, and I will be filming some of them to show you guys how to change and repair clothes. Even though I barely know what I'm doing as is, but we're going to do it together. Let's talk about the cart system. So the cart system they have is traditional grocery carts. you have to put yours on the wall, and I always put something in it first. They didn't have you do the blanket system here. You could just leave your cart uncovered and no one stole from it, which is great. I have had people steal from my cart before, and at my home bins, I have actually had people sneak things into my cart, and I ended up finding out at home when I had some random ugly t-shirt. I think the t-shirt boys at my bins tend to just randomly sometimes stick weird stuff in my cart. At some other bins, I've also had people steal things out of my cart. I had somebody attempt to steal some Doc Martens, which thankfully I still have them in my closet because I chase them down. I don't like when people steal things out of carts, so don't do it. But they have the traditional carts, and they don't have the thing where you can put the cart up because everything's priced differently. So they have you put everything in different bags, as you can see here, and they're very helpful and willing to help you sort everything, which is great, because if I had to do it myself, it would have taken a long time. So I'm going to say their cart system is an 8 out of 10. I do think that there could be something more to streamline, but seeing how many different things that there are to weigh, I understand how they do it, and they're helpful enough that it doesn't really make a difference. I also, when I first got in there, I found this plus size set. It is from the 1980s. It is beautiful, it is sequined. Then we have the bottom right here. It is a skirt set, a skirt and shirt set. It does have shoulder pads, which can be removed, but I think the shoulder pads give it character. I found this dress. It is a lace floral dress. This definitely gives me, again, like some 90s movies. It has kind of a whimsigoth vibe to it. So this is the only thing that's in this bag. And I usually almost never get wedding dresses anymore. Ever. But if we could just play dress up for a moment. I don't know if I can zip it all the way in the back. It does close when I use my hands. But as you can see, even if it does not, I will be getting this one altered, and that is for a very special reason. This vintage number is pure silk, which is almost impossible to find in wedding dresses these days. Or even back then, you have to go very far back to start finding a lot of pure silks. It is complete silk from the top down to the bottom. I love the train. I actually really like how I look in it. It's just gorgeous. You guys can't see the entire thing, but I just love the asymmetrical line. I think it just looks great. The final consensus, what is my score? What is my ranking of the bins in Pinellas County, St. Petersburg, Florida? I am going to give them a 9.1 out of 10. There were a few tiny little things that I may think need improvement, but overall this bins is one of the best I have been to, and I honestly think that it will stand up very well against the rest of the bins in the United States. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've been there, and also tell me, where do you want to see me go next? I am really hoping to continue this series, and thank you for following along and liking and subscribing, because in order to get there, I'm gonna need your support, and I thank each and every one of you for your support already. So my friends, I hope that you have a day just as beautiful as you are, and I will catch you in the next one. I love you so, so much. So after getting lost in 2 entrances to the Air Force Base and also getting